and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Daniel, we are coming off of another week of good gaming, and we are excited to bring this new episode to you. We're going to be talking about, it's another reflection episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we wanted to talk, we had two episodes specifically. One we had filmed previously. Last week, I happen to be wearing the same shirt, conveniently.
We even mentioned on the last podcast. You don't even have to try. They know what we do.
Yeah, that's right. We're filming multiple episodes back to back, but we had two episodes that we wanted to reflect on, kind of react to. Last week's was our gaming goals, like what goals we had throughout the year, and we found that most of them.
Audio listeners, this may be 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it might have been 2 weeks ago. And then this week we wanted to talk about our anticipated games. And of course, I want to add the caveat here is that we're still in 2021.
While we're recording, yes.
Week and a half, yes. So some of these games, even though they were released this time, I would like for us to eventually go back and reflect on those again and the new ones that we did eventually get to the table. Because not all of these got released. Some of them we got but haven't played. There's one very big exception that I'm looking forward to us talking about here in a bit. But I just wanted to bring that up, that caveat, is even though these are anticipated, we wanted to talk about what we thought about what happened when we played them. And some of them we just haven't played yet.
Yeah, no. And a lot of the ones that I have here, I haven't played. Some of them haven't released. So
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of interesting that going through that list and be like, ooh, wait, okay. Oh, wait, okay.
Yeah, exactly. But before we do that, before we get into the episode... Daniel, what have you been playing lately?
So I do have 4 games that I have been playing lately, and I did mention one of the games in that original podcast that I just kind of wanted to shout out when I was talking about some of the other groups. And the first one on my list here is Cape May. Now, I showed you this copy. I finally got to play it.
Ooh, okay.
I'm enamored with that game. I really had a good time with it. Mind you, it was only one play, but I liked what it was doing. It's, in essence, an economic game. You're trying to build up and get the most points at the end of the game by building up Cape May in New Jersey. You can get some by getting a set collection of bird tokens, but they're randomly drawn. Of course, you got to build up your houses and make them Victorians and make them landmarks and get your points and stuff like that. And you have your own personal goals, too. You get 2 personal goal cards to start the game. Sometimes they synergize. Like mine, I needed 3 buildings in pretty much 3 of the 4 locations for them to work. Well, both the cards that I had, they had the one of the same locations. So for me, it was I needed buildings in grass and dirt, and then the second one was in dirt and sand because there are levels. And so, hey, that's energized for me. And the thing is, you can choose it at the beginning of the game. You get 4 gold cards. You choose which 2 you want to keep.
Sure.
Simple. Yeah, I love the fact that one of your actions is you can move your character down the road. You get to do 3 actions on a turn, and one of them, the movement, you play a movement card, and depending on if you only want to move a minimum amount of movements, I think it's the 1 step, it costs you 2 gold to use. If it's the 2 step, it costs you 1 gold to use, but it also works on the other side. If you want to use your 6 and 7 movements, they cost you money. A 7 is 2 and a 6 is 1. Okay. Whereas 3, 4, and 5 don't cost you anything, but you have to be smart how you play it because you want to be adjacent to certain areas. If you want to start putting your stuff out there, your cottages and your shops, which you can then eventually upgrade to businesses or Victorians. Okay. And then you get like gold cards whenever you upgrade your businesses. And it played so well. It took a little bit to kind of figure it out, and then it kind of didn't because it's very simple. It's just, it seems like there's a lot out there. You got like I said, your 3 actions. One of them is move. One of them is pick up your movement cards. So when your movement card is on the table, you have to take a whole action to pick up movement cards back up. You build. Sure. You can upgrade. You can, I think that's pretty much it. Build, upgrade. There's one more. Oh, you can get activity cards or play activity cards. Those are the other 2 actions. Okay. So you gain activity cards and you just do what they say. There's some of them that have 2 on it, so you pick or choose because it says you could do this or this. And then sometimes they have it at a discount. So it says upgrade one of your Victorians to a landmark at a $2 discount because you normally cost $10. You only get 3 pay phase. So one of your other actions is you can just collect 3 monies.
Sure.
But when you're going through the seasons, because it's played in 12 rounds, 3 rounds per season, basically, we get a quarterly payment except for winter. So when you're in, when you go from fall or spring to summer, you get your first income phase. And so that's another reason why you're upgrading all your stuff and putting stuff out there, because it's increasing your income.
Yeah.
And so when you go through your first one, hey, I'm only going to make $8 this turn, but hey, that's $8 I can, not have to use an action to gain money. But when you're going into your summer, if you did right, you're going to get like $25, $26. And if you get your third income, it could be in the 40s, and that's just going to help you move stuff or build stuff a lot better, because your whole goal is to get your buildings upgraded and landmarked and stuff like that, because that's how you're going to get your points. I think like if you have Victorians and the sand level, there are 11 points per Victorian. I got 33 points for having 3 Victorians in the sand level. And this game was very close. It was a 4-player game, and I think there was only 9 points between first place and last place.
Wow.
It was phenomenal. I really like it. It's really beautiful. It's really well done.
Do you think I would like it too?
I think you would enjoy it. I think you would dig it.
It does look cool.
And for pretty cheap, I think you can pick it up for $50.
Oh yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's a really well produced game. Yeah, you don't see it on the shelf over there. Thunderworks, yeah. It's in my game bag right now.
Who is the designer on that?
I think his name is Esso. I can't remember exactly his name, but it's like Eric Messo or Masso or something like that.
Cool. Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, but Kate May.
All right, so the first one I'm going to talk about is a game with an IP that you and I both enjoy quite a bit. It's Firefly themed. And I had bought a number of months ago a copy of Firefly Shiny Dice.
Liar's Dice.
No, it's actually very different.
Really?
Yeah, it's not Liar's Dice in the slightest. It is a press your luck dice game, which, great theme.
Yeah.
I like press your luck. I like dice games. Like, what could go wrong? This game is so overwhelmingly convoluted that it's frustrating. And what I mean by that is that, yes, it's a press your luck game, but let's talk to you why. There are 15 dice in the game. Some of them are the villains, the foes, I'm sorry. So it's like it'll either roll Badger, Niska, or what's her name? The girlfriend.
Wait, whose girlfriend? There's
Mal's girlfriend, the redhead. Christina Hendricks is the actress.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember her name off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's one of those 3, right? And then...
Because she's also like what Anira is, the...
Yeah.
Whatever they call it there. I can't think of it now.
And there's 2 other kinds of dice. There's crew dice. Both of these are considered crew dice, but there's...
Companion.
There are the ones that are obvious, like Wash. You have Mal, Zoe, all of them, Jane, all those. And then you also have passenger dice, which are stuff like River, Book, all those.
Yeah.
Right? The Doctor, whatever his name is. So you roll all 15 of these dice and you basically sort them out, right? It comes with 2 really nice player mats that kind of have the sections going. And then you flip over a mission card. Well, then you choose whether you want to use Wash to reroll your some of your crew dice, or River to reroll some of the foe dice. And that matters because they all have their own abilities. And then you choose to reroll those. Then you flip over a foe mission card.
Yeah.
And then if you happen to have those dice faces there, then you follow the instructions on the mission card. But there's also another little code word on it, on the mission card. Like it might be a shiny mission, or it might be a Gorum mission, a bushwhacked mission. And that has another caveat, which isn't referenced on the card. But you could probably eventually remember. It's like, bushwhacked, for example, if once you're done with that, you can't continue pressing your luck, you just have to finish.
Yeah.
Or there's ones where you do have to finish, like Gorum, I think you have to keep going. Shiny lets you KO a foe dice, stuff like that. And then after you've done the missions, then the foe strike, which if you have at least one Niska, you have to KO one of your dice. One of your crew dice, done. If you have the girlfriend, whatever hers, she puts dice into the cargo bay, which basically removes it from that turn, but you can still re-roll them for the next round if you choose to press your luck. And then Badger, if you get any cargo dice, then or supplies dice, then he steals those. So when you defeat him, you get those supplies immediately.
Okay.
So it's thematic on how they work, right?
Yeah.
And then every character in the show has its own special ability. Like Mal, for example, he can bring more dice from the cargo hold and put them back into Serenity and re-roll them, bringing the crew back in, like basically pep talk. But he can also like KO the girlfriend's dice, only hers. He can't KO Niska or Badger. Zoe could do like 2 damage amongst anybody.
Okay.
Jane, he can either do 2 damage on somebody, or he can you could discard him and another die and do all damage to one foe. Like it's completely knock them out because he just flips out, right? And so they all have their own ability. Like River can do 1 damage across everybody. So it has some cool it has some cool ideas, some cool abilities. Here's the problem. You probably are like overwhelmed with all that I just said right there. Because that's the dice game. Your turns take 10 to 15 minutes. And then, after you've succeeded, if you've defeated all your foes that turn, you're going to get 100 victory points for each foe you defeat, plus the bonuses, plus supplies, which are basically like 50 points. Each it's 2 to 1 for 100 points at the end of the game. Then you can choose to go again, reroll all of the foe dice, everything that you had still in Serenity, all of the supplies, and everything in the cargo hold. Anything that was KO'd from last round, you can't use. So then you get to choose to do another full turn of all of that.
Okay.
And that ends up taking a really long time. It took us 40 minutes to play 1 round. You're supposed to play 3 rounds for each player. And we did end up playing with a variant that the designer, Scott Morris, he ended up going online and saying that he never designed it with the mission cards, but you're supposed to reveal the mission after you've re-rolled. Well, then you don't know what you're going for.
Yeah,
He said that his intent is that before you do your re-rolls, flip over a mission, see what you're aiming for, then decide. And that makes... everybody plays with that now.
Yeah, it just makes much more sense.
It just does, yeah, because it's not just a random effect or whatever.
Because how are you going to decide, okay, these are the dice that I want?
Right.
I mean, I know it's pressure luck, but the pressure luck is like if you want to keep going on missions.
Right, exactly.
Why is it a pressure luck if you don't know what's coming up?
Right, exactly. No, you're absolutely right on that. And it's because of how long and how convoluted it is. Like, I got pretty comfortable. Like, I can memorize most of the abilities.
Yeah.
Like, Inara just gets you 100 points, or you bank immediately. Stuff like that,
Yeah.
You can remember it, and it does make sense thematically. But we played it with 4 players. We played 1 round, and it took us 40 minutes.
Oh, Jesus!
And
for a push your luck game, it shouldn't be that.
If
it's a push your luck game that takes 40 minutes, that should be the entire game, not just 1 round.
Right, exactly. So that would have taken us like an hour and a half.
Because what is it? One of the longer push your luck games that we played, Dead Man Tells No Tales.
Yeah, that's still only 15, 20 minutes total.
That's the burning ship. Yeah.
Dead Men Tell No Tales. That's the
King Klinko burning ship pirate ship.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call that push your luck, really. I mean,
well, it's a co-op push your luck.
Yeah, you can kind of go a little bit farther as you go, but it's
Pandemic the Cure, or because that's that's not the King Klinko one. It's the Rapid Response.
Rapid Response, and that's timed.
Yeah,
like I don't know, it makes sense, and I wanted to like it more than I did, but it just fell flat, and now I'm gonna be trading it in because. I mean, maybe you'd like it if I played 2-player, right? Like, if you and me played it, like, you'd probably dig it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you'd be...
probably enamored with it.
Keeping.
Especially when there's so many good push your luck games out there. I just mentioned Dungeon the king... I mentioned the king of it, King Klinko.
Yep.
So...
Exactly. No, it was frustrating because I wanted to like it so bad. But we didn't, so...
All right, moving on to my number 2 game. Welcome to, and we played the Winter Wonderland map pack.
Uh-huh.
And so I really enjoy it. I still think Welcome to is a phenomenal game. It's probably in my top 5, if not for sure in my top 10. probably in my top 5 of roll, flip, and write games.
yeah.
Some people separate them. I mix them together because they're pretty much the same thing. They just have a different mechanism for moving
Gotcha.
the game along. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the Winter Wonderland map pack. I don't know if I like it more than the Halloween pack. I really, really enjoyed the Halloween pack. This one is all more about the lights and getting consecutive strings of lights on your street and stuff like that. Well, you have 3 cards, all in the number 3 spot, that you can change out. The one we had is just to have connected non-stopping lights. And no, it's good. I had a great time with it. It's not my favorite of the map packs. Like I said, I really enjoy the Halloween. I got to try the others. But it's welcome too. A lot of people have talked about it enough already to begin with, but it's so good. You flip over 3 cards, you put in the number in your one of your streets, and you can take the special ability, whether it's making estates or taking a biz. This way you can copy a number. It's a phenomenal game. I enjoy the map packs because it just gives you a variety. The Welcome to Wonderland is really good. The Halloween one, I highly recommend, especially around Halloween, because it deals with like candies and ghosts and stuff like that, which can compound points. And I like it also because it's a reward thing. So if you're the first one to get the so many candies, you can like say, hey, I reached this point. You're the only one that can get that one. If you take like the middle one, people are only going to compete for the highest one or the lowest one. So I do like that. It doesn't really have that much in the Winter Wonderland, but it's still really good game.
Cool. Yeah, good pick. My next one is kind of a collection of games. It's a part of a trilogy called Brainwaves. And I used to own the original one. I had since picked up the other 2 recently. So now I own all 3. But I want to talk specifically about Brainwaves Wise Whale. And these are all games that are designed to like help you work with memory, focus on, different aspects of like, memory and critical thinking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about it is that all of them have a scientific study, not based on the game, but in the back of the rulebook they explain, why this is good for you to watch, or why this is good for you to play, and how it helps you with like your mental capabilities, I guess. And this one specifically, the way it works is that you have a collection of cards that have either an animal, whether it be a dolphin, a turtle, starfish, they're all different sea animals, and they have a different colored background. So like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, teal, all those.
Yeah.
You shuffle them up, and then you deal them in a 3x3 grid, so you only have 9 out. Everybody studies it for a few moments. You flip them all face down, and then the first player draws a card. Let's say it's the red whale, right? Then I have to find a card that matches either red or whale. So I say, okay, I'll pick this middle one. Flip it over. If it matches one of them, I score it. But then that red whale that came up goes face down into that pile.
It's kind of like a memory game.
Exactly. It's a memory game, and then you can do that up to 3 times on your turn. So you can score up to 3 points on a single turn, but everybody gets to see where the cards are changing. So that initial memory, like, I'm great at that. Like, I can remember just about anything on the first board.
But after, like...
But it keeps changing throughout the reference. And then so the question is, how much of that ongoing change can you remember? And then there's a point in each of the games where you're just kind of like, I'm just guessing now because I don't even remember
where everything went.
This is chaos. And all of the other Brainwave games work similar. One, you have like your hand of cards facing away from people. You're trying to remember where they are. And then the other one, you have like a lineup. Yeah, you have like a lineup, and they have like different animals or shirts or colors and stuff. And you roll a die, and you're like, it'll say like on spot number 5. What color shirt did they have? And you're trying to guess it for the points. That one's a little more difficult. That one's for minor kinesia, actually, I believe. But all 3 of them are really good games. They are fun. I do agree that they're simple enough that families can play with it and have a fun time. But it does definitely burn your brain in a really interesting way. So that's the Brainwave series. Go check them all out. Specifically Wise Whale. I like that one the favorite.
Alrighty, so moving on to my next game is one I might talk about a lot more later on the list, in the actual list, but I did want to put the fact that I did play it, and that's Cartographer Heroes.
Ah, yes.
I've
Okay.
got the collector's edition. I haven't played any of the map packs. I did play Heroes specifically twice, just because I wanted to see how the hero aspect of it's going to work.
Right.
So basically, what happens with this one is you got new monsters in there, and so when you're playing with hero cards, whenever a hero is drawn, you draw their specific thing. So whatever their attack goes to, it basically eliminates that monster space.
Okay.
So if you're covering a monster space and put an X on it, that monster no longer activates, so you're not going to get your negative points from monsters. However, the new monsters spread out their attacks compared, like the other one is just like the normal 4 polynomials. There's some in here that do things a little differently, so you're going to have a hard time trying to X out all the empty spaces around them to not get negative points. But that's why the heroes are in there, because there's 4 hero cards that can do the same thing that the monsters do, but except they eliminate the monsters. But some of the map packs that I also got from it, they look really cool. Like there's going to be lava cards that come out if you're playing the volcano one. I think it's, I can't remember the names of all of them. But that's going to start taking things out. So if you're building for a gold card that has like a village that or 6 strong and a volcano goes off and you built it by the volcano, and the lava spreads out and takes out those village, well, now it's 4 long or 4 big, and so you're not going to get your bonus points off of that. So you got to be smart of how you play it. Some monsters, also in Heroes, I think the dragon, they actually eliminate spaces.
Oh, wow.
So you're not going to be able to, because I think what's going to, or maybe the troll, I can't remember which one it was, but like whenever it comes up or every round, you add a block that is blocked. You cannot use it. Now, sometimes I can help you. If the monster's in the right area and you got to do like a diagonal for a scoring, it counts as a filled space.
Okay.
But if it goes through like your city or your forest, it's destroying like those chains that you've been building the entire time. So I really are intrigued with some of the stuff that they added into this one.
Yeah.
Phenomenal game. Cartographers was one of my 2020 games of all time, and Cartographer Heroes is one of my most recent plays, and I really, really dig it.
The Thunderworks.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. All right. So, Daniel, you know how I am essentially a big kid at heart. Like, I am perfectly fine playing children's games if they're funny.
Yeah.
Like, or if I enjoy them. Like 2 of my favorite games, Animal Upon Animal, Rhino Hero. Those are phenomenal Hobbit games.
Oh, yeah. Great Hobbit games.
Excuse me. We went to, a couple of days ago, we went to a different city, just completely spur of the moment, to buy a dog specifically. But we went up there, and while we were up there, we went to a pizza and, I'm going to give a shout out to them, Slice and Dice in Albuquerque.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Pizza place, phenomenal food, and it's a board game cafe, or I guess, I don't know, board game location where you can play demos and stuff. And they also sell games as well, so I stocked up on a lot of games there. They have churro donuts. Oh my god.
Oh,
anyway,
that sounds good.
Yeah, they're amazing. So anyway, I digress. I told my wife, I was like, hey, here's the library of games. Like, I'm not going to try and force you anything, but if anything looks good, let me know. And she's like, okay, cool. And so she asked if there was any suggestions, and I didn't want anything too crazy, you know, and I had my kids with me, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I found a Hobbit game that I'd been curious about, and we played it. It's called Hammer Time. Stupid name.
I know which one this one is. It looks fun.
So you have a pile of gems, and you adhere basically a mouse pad to the back of the box.
Yeah.
And you put these gems on it, and you have a little wooden hammer, and you're smacking the side of the box, trying to have certain gems fall off of it. Now here's the catch: if you do 9 or more gems that fall off, your turn's over. You're done. Too bad, because you smack it all. That's to prevent people from just destroying the box and and just trying to collect everything. But you have like your own little wagon cards that have anywhere from 4 to 6 gems on them that you need to collect, and they're certain colors.
Yeah.
Colors are a little questionable for us, but you know, I'm sure there's a way.
It's a German game, so I'm not surprised.
Right. But as you're hitting this box, as soon as a single gem falls off after that hit, boom. If even one falls off, that's it. That's what you get to choose from. And if you can put ones on your wagon, then great. If not, just chuck them right back in the middle. But then you also have like little tasks that you can complete. Like some might say you need to hit only 1, 2, or 3 gems.
Yeah.
One might say 6, 7, or 8. One might say an even amount or an odd amount. Or one might say you have like 2 black gems that are they're just in there as fodder, right? That if you knock 2 of those off, you get it. And these task cards can be traded in as a wild gem. And it's absolutely fun. It's amazing. I want to buy it so bad now. It's so
Why didn't you pick it up while you were there?
There was no copies I found for sale. If there were a copy for sale, I would have bought it. Hands down. We only played the demo copy. I haven't found it for sale since. I checked out the Barnes & Noble there and just didn't find it. I will buy it as soon as I find that available.
It's also a little older too, so, and Haba kind of goes through there.
I think it was just last year though.
Yeah, but it's also Haba.
True. They do release more than that. But this is probably up there with Rhino Hero. This is really, really good. This might be one of my new favorite Haba games of all time.
All right, so my last game, I was going to put Gloomhaven because that's what we've been playing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to change it because I don't think it's been on your list, and I know you've played it. We just didn't play it together, and I wanted to see how you feel about it.
Okay.
And this one is Galaxy Trucker.
Okay.
I didn't think...
I thought about talking about this one, as you can see by my list here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell us what you think.
It was okay. It was, I don't know why everybody, I mean, it's one of those games that are hit or miss. Like some people really, really love it, or some people really, really don't like it. And I think I fall along the lines of don't like it. I just think part of it is like, I like the building aspect of it and trying to make sure like everything's good. But I just don't like how lucky it can. Yeah, you can look at the cards, but how lucky the actual path is. But the thing is, you have to stop what you're doing while your other players are building the ship to go look at those cards. Okay, I can look at these 2. Well, do I want to look at the other sets that are over there for me to look at while losing time building my ship? And so a lot of times I just ignored them. And then, like, my first turn, I got eliminated on the first 2 flips or something like that because I didn't have enough battery power for my shields, or I didn't have enough crew. Like, yeah, the second card is I would lose, I think it was like 5 crew members. I only had 5 crew. I had 4 people and 1 alien, and that one card cost me 5 crew.
Yeah.
And so, oh, well, you're done. Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I can't play the rest of this while you guys get to do that. Okay, maybe I should build my ship more efficiently. In the second round, I built it more efficiently. I still didn't get a lot of points just because of certain things that came up. And I just think it's so lucky, and there's not a lot of stuff that you can mitigate it because you don't know what's going to come up. So, yeah, hey, you can anticipate by putting your shields up, or you can build your guns up. You got to make sure you point your guns in the right way because you don't know where the asteroids are going to come with. But you got to make sure, hey, you got enough engines to move, and and not to mention, you got to make sure you got enough crew out there too. And so you only have a limited amount of space. And it's just, I like the building part of it just because of that little puzzle aspect. But when you get into the flying part of it, I'm not first place. So I don't get a chance to go after this goal if they can meet it.
Right.
I feel like it's too lucky. Maybe because it was only a 2-player game and it might be better at a bigger player count. That's why I wanted to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
Because I know you played 3. Yeah. And so I know our buddy really, really likes it. He really enjoyed it so much so he bought the app to play on his phone or iPad or whatever.
Was this the owner of the...
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't... I'm like, it's fine. After like the first 2 rounds, I was like, okay. I'm like, my third round was great. I scored really well in the third round. It's just, at that point, I was already taken out of the game. I wasn't enjoying it.
Right. So, a quick little background on it. This has been on my wish list for a long time, probably about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And I had always had opportunities where I'd consider buying it too, because I had always wanted it, because this is totally my style of game.
Yeah.
After that play, I took it off my list.
Okay, so it's not just me.
I was disappointed in it, and I'll tell you why. It's not so much luck. I mean, yes, there's a lot of luck in it. I like the speed building. I love that part of it.
That was fun. I enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, and I love the concept. Like, it cracks me up. The idea of it is awesome. It's like, yeah, you're going to build your ship, and then it's just going to get pummeled and destroyed. What I didn't like about it, and what ended up ruining it for me, was just how many different things that the random objective cards would come up with.
Mm-hmm.
That it was frustrating because there's just so much stuff, so many different things that they do. If it was just they're gonna pummel your ship and see what you have remaining, cool.
And the thing about that, another part that really bothered me about it is the rolling of the dice to determine which section it's going to come in, because you can plan very well, but if you, I got like 4 guns facing down because I know there's going to be asteroids coming, but it hits in that one spot I don't have a gun.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was one time I couldn't get any shields out there. Like the second round, I only had one shield and it was facing front and right.
Sure.
And it's just.
No, and that's not even that big of a problem for me. It's just the sheer amount of, like, there's so many different things, like economic. You're trying to trade stuff. You're trying to make deals. You're trying to harvest planets. You want to make sure you have batteries. You want to make sure you have the cargo space. You want to make sure you have aliens that can do this. It's way too much for a game that's supposed to be simpler.
And it's not just that. It's way too much for you not to know that's going to come up. So you got to build your ship accordingly.
Right.
But you don't know if you're going to be able to get red. So, yeah, I mean, you can put other stuff in that cargo hold, but if I get a red up there eventually, well, I'm going to have to start shuffling other things around or taking things out. But it's just, you don't know what's coming up, and that's fine. But to me, it's just, there's no mitigation that you can do, because all your stuff is done in the beginning. I can't mitigate anything after the fact.
Right. Yeah, it was funny. I was disappointed in it.
Yeah, same with me. And I've always heard good things, like people saying they really like this game. I think Tom Vassell or something like that really, really enjoy it. And I'm just sitting there like, I get why Z doesn't like this game. It's just, I wasn't enamored. I'm like, I really, really want to try it. I'm glad I tried it. But
it wants it to be a gamer game, and it's not. Simply not. So, my last one that I'm going to be talking about, I brought it here because I wanted to show you. It's Let's Dig for Treasure. It is Stephen Rhodes, I think, is the artist for this. This is a small little press your luck game. Probably the simplest press your luck game I've played. At least it's up there because all the cards tell you exactly what they do. Mm-hmm. Do you like the humor? Like some things like Flux or like that?
Oh, I enjoy the Flux humor. This kind of reminds me of, there's an old video game, and it's like some of the older video games it looks like, but it kind of reminds me of Zombies Ate My Neighbors style.
Okay, yeah. I could definitely see that, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this game, like, it's... I've had a blast playing it, but if you're looking for a heavy strategic game, or even a good game, like if your criteria is I want a game that's good, this isn't it. Because it's terribly off balance. Like I might be drawing a bunch of 1s and 0s, and you might draw a 40-point card. Yeah. Right. You know, like there's no way. Like in fact, the game I played last night with a friend of mine, he ended up winning because he drew a 40-point card. But it's not about the win. With this game, it's about that adventure. Like there's a card in here where it's like if it's worth like 0 points. But if you're the owner of the game, it's worth 5 points.
I like that kind of humor,
right? Like the evil skeleton, it instantly makes you bust. Or if you get 2 worms, that's how you bust, right? But you're just drawing cards and seeing what happens and following their directions. Some will affect other players, like the sewage, or like the nuclear sewage leak. Yeah. Like when you score it, you just give it to somebody. It's negative 20 points. It's like it's ridiculous. But it's good.
Looks to me like what they were trying to do for Oregon Trail, the card game, where it's kind of push your luck, that kind of is based on a video game. That, bad things are going to happen. Just have fun with it. Where that one sucked. Everything I hear about this one, it's really good.
It was really fun. And after this, I'm going to tell you right now, we are playing it real quick.
All right.
That'll go towards your goal, 100 new games. It's quick. It's like 5-10 minutes, maybe.
All right, sounds good.
And that'll give us a little break in between them. So that's what we'll play. And I've been playing it. I really like it. I did want to get the other Stephen Rhodes games, that specifically the, Let's Do a Seance or something.
I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I've been wanting to play.
Yeah, it's kind of like Machikoro.
It's like Machikoro's Space, but like a smaller box.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm intrigued by that. And I've heard that it's like the Don't Talk to Strangers is meh.
Okay, but still, I want the whole set, honestly. And if I know I just missed the Kickstarter, but if they had like where you can buy all 6, I probably would have done it.
You could. It was like $110.
I'm gonna see if I can get in late pledge manager. So make that 15 Kickstarters this year.
Right. Exactly. And if you do that, I'm in. Yeah, I would love to try that too. But that's Let's Dig for Treasure by Cryptozoic, I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure Cryptozoic is the publisher on it. Yep. Cool.
And so that means we're going into our 2021 most anticipated game revisited list.
That's right. So what we did is we made a list of games that we were excited to talk or look into and play at the beginning. Well, March 2021.
Because again, caveat for this, and we talk about it in the other podcast, is that we were going based off Gamma, because Gamma tends to make a lot of board game announcements, but as of the last few years, Gamma hasn't really made that kind of announcements. It's more just been scattered throughout the year.
And mainly just because of the lockdowns.
Well, no, because 2019 they didn't make a lot of announcements either before lockdown. It's just because the gaming companies realized, hey, let's build the anticipation up as early as possible, because they're trying to get all those games out right before Gen Con comes up, or if they're European, Essen.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to get all that up there. And so Gamma is probably the place you can first see them and play them and understand if you want to put them in your game store. But they've already been announced now.
Exactly. So we have 8 games that we each picked. I'll go ahead and flip the coin of doom, and then we'll decide.
One caveat before we get started.
Yes.
We had talked about some honorable mentions on our list. I don't know if you put it on yours, but I put my honorable mentions on here.
I forgot what mine were.
So I don't remember what yours were. Let me just go ahead and talk about the 2 that I caveats.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was correct on Frosthaven. It wouldn't be ready in 2021. I've done enough Kickstarters to kind of figure out, especially how massive this game was.
Yeah.
He's like 6 months behind right now. They haven't even really started the printing. Yeah, and it's fine, because originally it was supposed to come out early last year or this year, and then late so I should between October and December it should already be sitting out for fulfillment. But they still haven't even gone to the print, because it's a giant print run. As I mentioned in there, he has to make like 92,000 copies or something like that. It's the largest board game Kickstarter in history. So yeah, I didn't expect it to come out in 2021. I am hoping right now it's looking to be mid to late 2022. I'm hoping it comes out in 2022, because we're getting closer and closer to be finishing with Gloomhaven. So luckily I got Role Player Adventures to...
Yeah, and I have Dice Throne Adventures.
Yeah.
So we have things to pass the time.
And the other one was, I talked about Tsukiyumi Full Moon Down. Some people were already getting it, but it was still... having a bit of an issue in America. I do have it. You can see it right up there in the corner. I just haven't played it.
Yep. Cool. All right, yeah, and I don't remember what my honorable mentions were. It was pretty late last night that I reviewed the list. So we'll go straight into it. Number 8. I'll start us off. Number 8 is a game from Grail Games that I was very excited about. They ran a Kickstarter for it. It was called Whale Riders. From Reiner Knizia. They did both a board game and a card game version of it. Mm-hmm. It looks absolutely fantastic with Vincent Dutrade art. It looks cool. Weird theme, but it looks like a really neat, like, kind of like management of like which resources you get when.
The art's amazing though.
Yeah, and I think the big thing with this is that I've noticed that Grail games are very difficult to find, at least where we live.
Oh yeah.
Because I also
unless you get on the unless you get up on the Kickstarter.
Unless you get on the Kickstarter, yeah, it's hard to get down there, because I believe they're an Australian company, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I'm looking for American releases because I want to get Boomerang as well, which is a Grail game, and I probably only own maybe a couple from Grail.
I don't even know if I have a Grail game on my shelf over here.
Yeah, I don't know, because they make really good quality stuff from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, I just haven't played it. That's it.
All right, moving on to my number 8 is a game that shouldn't have been on my list if I thought about Sleeping Gods, because I really want to play Sleeping Gods. I've heard really good things about it. But this is also a Ryan Lochte game, and this is Now or Never. I didn't pre-order it. I haven't played it because I don't think it's even out yet, but you could pre-order it this year. I just haven't. It looks really good. Mind you, I haven't even played Near and Far. It's somewhere up there on that shelf of shame. I think like the 3rd game right there, above Discover. And I want to try it. I really do enjoy it. Like I said, I love Above and Below. So, yeah, it's tough for me to have this one on our list because I don't even know if it's out yet.
Right. Yeah, I haven't heard if it is or not. Yeah. Number 7. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first. All right, so mine was a set of escape room games. Specifically, they announced 2 at the time that I was aware of. It's the Exit series, but the ones that use the jigsaw puzzles. At the time, I was really excited because I had done like a mystery, little jigsaw puzzle thing that was really interesting for me. And I enjoyed the mess out of it, and I was excited to do an escape room with that. I've since done a couple of escape room games since then, but none of them have been Exit. I have yet to buy any of the Exits. I've completed Catacombs, and I've also done a Code of Chronicles too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been lacking. I've gotten way more escape room games and played very few of them. So that's it. The Exit jigsaw puzzle games. I'm still excited to play it. My excitement has not dwindled, but I still haven't gotten it to the table or bought them yet. So that's it.
All right, moving on to my number 7 is something I mentioned out in the most recent podcast, and that is I recently played it, and that is The Loop from Pandasaurus Games. And I own it, as I mentioned, and I have played it. It is phenomenal. It's really well done art. It's good pieces, great production. Pandasaurus never, let you down when it comes to stuff like that. But I love the gameplay of it too. It's very simple co-op that you're just trying to meet a certain amount of goals by playing out your cards, and you're adding cards to your deck. So in essence, it's a little bit deck buildy, but it all depends on where you land and if there's a card there, because you're adding what is called artifacts to your hand. And so if you end your turn in a certain area, one of the things as you're going through the phases of a round or your turn is that you can pick up one of those cards there, but you can only pick up one. But I like the time aspect of it because you can send people backwards, you can move forward or back, however you want. When it's always talking about adjacencies and stuff like that. It's good. It's a phenomenal game. I really enjoy it. I've only played it 2-player. I do want to try it with more player counts because it was tough as a 2-player. I could just imagine how crazy it is because each location, and that might be different at 4 players because I think there's 2-player or 2 sides, is that you can only have so many rift tokens. And if their rift token comes up, you take out your, your goal, because each place has a goal card that you have to meet. You lose that, so now you're supposed to, the basic game is you got to hit 4 goal cards, and I think there's 8 locations, I think is what it is. And then you lose a rift, there goes 1. Oh wait, a second rift comes up. You only have 3 rifts. So if a 4th one comes up, you're going to lose the game. But if a second rift at the same location that already has a rift, you will lose the game. And to win the game, you have to meet the certain amount of criteria. Now, there's different scenarios too. The basic game, it just tells you play sabotage, you get 4 goals, that's it. There's things that make the game more difficult. There's games, there's other things that have different requirements for you to beat the game. And so I enjoyed it. I just have a blast with it. And this looks like something that could be expanded. They can add more stuff. And it's just literally that. You just add more stuff. So I dig it. The Loop, number 7.
Pandasaurus has been really digging on like the time travel things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to try their That Time You Killed Me game.
Oh, yeah. I heard really good things about that one, too.
It's so good. It's absolutely my style. My number 6, I just double-checked it right now. It has not been released this year, so obviously I haven't played it yet. The release date is set to 2022, but it was Skyrim, the board game.
Yeah, they barely had the Kickstarter this year.
Yeah, they barely had the Kickstarter this year. I figured that was kind of going to be the case, but I didn't realize that they were that far behind as far as publishing it.
Oh, okay.
I thought that they already had, if they were doing a Kickstarter, I don't remember for sure them announcing that it was going to go straight to Kickstarter.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was going to come out, yeah.
Yeah, so the Skyrim the board game, I don't have much else to say about it. Obviously, then I couldn't have played it yet.
Yeah.
But I want to.
No, it looks pretty good from what I saw on the Kickstarter. No, I didn't back it. It was just way too much money.
I almost wonder if there's going to be like tabletop simulator version of it. I might have to look into
Maybe. If there is, I'll probably try it. Or at least a board game arena, something like that. I prefer board game arena over tabletop simulator. I don't like the physics.
Right. And somebody just posted, like, I'm looking at the comments right here. Base early bird is going to be $125 plus shipping, Australian dollars. And base plus all expansions is $257 plus shipping.
Australian dollars, which is roughly, I think, close to like Yeah, and I don't remember what the time or the money difference is, but I know it was pricey. I thought it was like up there with 300 with everything and shipping.
Yeah. It looks like there's a lot of roll to resolve, like roll for things. Yeah, there is a tabletop sim game. 100 plus hours of experience, Skyrim fans. This guy rated a 5. Oof.
All right, so moving on to number 6.
Yep. All right, number 6. Here comes our coin flip. Sorry, I just got caught up reading, which is exciting for our viewers.
All right, so moving on to number 6. My number 6 pick was Aliens: Fate of Nostromo. I own it. I've played it. I really like it. Now, is it my favorite co-op of the year or something I've played this year? Probably not. I do like that you do get the alien theme, the little bit of attention from it. And like we always compared Nemesis as like the alien game that was legally distinct from Alien.
Right.
This one is good for its price point compared to Nemesis. So if you just want something that gives you the alien feel that isn't a card game like Alien Encounters, Legend or Deck Builder, what is it? Legends? I can't even remember. Legendary Encounters, which is different from the regular Legendary. I say pick this one up. It's inexpensive. It's about $30. You do get the experience. It's tough though. At 4 players, we got our butts handed to us when we played it. I enjoy it. I wouldn't rate it high. I say maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's in that range. I don't know exactly where yet, but I do enjoy it, and I do get an alien feel of it, and it's nice to bust out because it only takes like 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so I enjoy it. Number 6 was Alien: Fate of Nostromo.
All right, so on to our number 5. You ready for this?
Wait, did you do your 6? Oh, you have
Skyrim. There we go. I'll start first. My number 5 is going to be the first game that I have played. We did a Kickstarter. We interviewed the owner of the company, Kurt Covert. This is a Smirk and Dagger game that they ran a Kickstarter for. And he fulfilled it quick. I was really impressed.
Yeah, that was really fast.
The game is The Night Cage, and it's a thematic game. We got it before Halloween, which was important because I definitely played it on Halloween. You are all trying to basically traverse the maze, trying to find every player finds a key, and then everybody joins in on the gate spot. The maze is developed through it. You can only ever see one space away following the paths, so as you're moving around, you remove tiles. It's constantly changing. You can fall down holes, which may or may not be a good thing. It depends. Monsters pop up, the wax eaters, which are absolutely terrifying. This game is great. I love this game. It's random. It shouldn't be as fun as it is, but it's fantastic because it's so thematic. Every tile you pull, you don't want to pull, but you know what you need to traverse to find those keys and find a spot where everybody can do it. But you just don't really want, you don't want to flip over a wax eater or a problem. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic how it works. I like it a lot. That is my number 5 pick, Night Cage.
Stop punching my mic. My number 5 is a game that I was really looking forward to. And it's by one of my favorite designers, formerly from Fantasy Flight, Corey Konecka. I do own the game. I just haven't played it yet, and this is The Initiative. It looks amazing. It looks like a really good game. I'm really intrigued to play it. I just haven't busted it out. I've set up the crypto machine, whatever, the little pieces. I set it up. I'm ready to play it. I've been Gloomhaven. It's been Gloomhaven.
It's Gloomhaven.
I already have like several story time games going on right now. So mainly we've been concentrating on Gloomhaven, and I'm hesitant to start The Initiative while I'm still got all those other stuff, because like Charterstone, we got 2 games in, haven't played it. It's still sitting there, and I want to play it more. It just hasn't busted out, so I'm very hesitant in starting The Initiative. But then it can go like Scooby-Doo Coded Chronicles, and we just play like several of them at one time.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, the group that I would play The Initiative with, which I have already played one round, and it is fun. There's one problem with my group, and I think have I brought this up before?
Yeah, you told me about it. It's your friend.
Yeah, he can look at that cipher and go, Okay, yep, got it. And like we have to like aim it away from him. It's like it's not the spirit of the game. Like you're right, you knew what it was.
Yeah.
But come on, like
Yeah, exactly.
don't do that. Now he'll probably be able to figure it out pretty well once we start
Actually
solving
playing
it.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is kind of the point. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah,
part,
you're supposed to.
yeah,
But just the fact that he can look at the cipher and be like, I got it.
yeah. It's like, dude, come on. But no, it was a really cool game, and I'm looking forward to it. There was I heard a really great description from the Dice Tower podcast when they were talking about it. There's one component in it where they're talking about it, and I'm sure if you've set it up, you've looked at it. And there's one component in it that's pretty obvious. Like, there's more to this component than
Probably. I don't remember. It's been a while. I took it out. I bagged it up. I set up that
right.
thing, and I just haven't played it. So it's been a couple months since I've gotten it.
The description he said is like you see like like the movie where it's like where there's an adult trying to enter a room, but it's actually three kids like standing on each other's shoulders with a trench coat on.
Yeah.
It's like we all kind of know like
Yeah,
what's going on here, but we'll play along. Like
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of like it seems that way, and I definitely got that same vibe from it too. I haven't figured out for sure that, but I'd believe it. But yeah, that's the initiative. What was that on my list?
That was my 5.
And so we've done our 5. So now on to number 4. I'll go first. So my number 4 still technically doesn't exist. So I haven't played it. It's called Meeple Mountain from Breaking Games. And after we filmed this, and actually fairly recently, I wanted to see if I could find out any further information about it. Mm-hmm. So I actually went back to the 2020 Gamma live coverage and found the Breaking Game interview, and I found where they were talking about it and where they were saying it, and I haven't heard anything from it since. So I still got excited about it because they showed like a prototype of it.
Yeah.
As you're rolling meeples down this giant water slide, it goes out into the board. And I don't know if they changed the name, if they've made it something different, but I'm still very much enticed to try it. I just haven't heard anything from it. And now I believe that there's either a website or like a podcast or something called Meeple Mountain that anytime you Google it, you'll only find their stuff. So I'd believe it if they rebranded it and renamed it, but it just looks so cool. So that's Meeple Mountain from Breaking Games that, of course, I haven't played because it technically doesn't exist.
Well, I'm seeing the video pop up on board game for the Gamma Expo.
And that's it. That's the only mention of it I found anywhere. It's not on Board Game Geek. It's not on their website. It's not on their news. It's not anywhere else to be found other than that one video.
Well, I put in Water Slide Meeple. There's a game called Meeple Land by Blue Orange.
Yep. Nope. Very different game.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yep. I mean, it's no control over that. I can't be blamed for that one.
Okay.
I'll keep looking.
So technically, my number 4 doesn't exist right now either.
Oh.
This is my Stefan Feld pick on our list here.
Okay.
And this is Hamburg, reprint of Bruges. So I could technically play Hamburg if I can find a copy of Bruges. That's the whole reason why I backed the Kickstarter, because you can't find a relatively good priced Bruges. Right. So I'm like, okay, I'll get the Kickstarter. And the original plan was the actual Kickstarter was supposed to come, these two were supposed to fulfill before the next two came on.
Right.
But with the shipping crisis as it is, the container issues, they went ahead and said, okay, what we're going to do is all 4 games are going to be sent with one another. Okay. We're going to do the next Kickstarter, which is New York and Marrakesh. And then all 4 games will be sent at the same time, roughly at about February, March timeframe, like spring of 2022. So yeah, it's not even here yet. I've seen some art of it from when they send like the Kickstarter stuff. I was disappointed, just like most people are, but sure. I understand. I have a lot of games that I can play before it gets here, including Feld games down there. So
exactly. And Feld games that I own that you still haven't played yet.
Yeah. So my number 4 was Hamburg. I really do want to play this because I've heard everybody say Bruges is their favorite. A lot of people say Bruges is their favorite Feld game, and I'm like, okay, I want to try this. I'm a fan of Castle Burgundy. I like Merlin, so I probably will enjoy Hamburg. So
very likely. Yeah. All right, ready?
Yep.
Off to our number 3. This is, and you'll be leading us away.
All right, so my number 3 was my Stonemeyer pick of the year, and I actually did get it relatively quickly. I think it took August or June, or I think it was like July or August when I did get it, but I did finally play it, and that's Red Rising. I was already a fan of the book series, mind you. I only read the first book and really enjoyed it, but haven't read any of the rest of the series. Still on my to be read list, but with my job and everything that was going on, I just haven't been reading either. So, but Red Rising, I do own it. I do play it. I really like it. I get why some people, because it was compared to Fantasy Realm, because Jamie Stegmaier opened that door. They do two different niches. So I do understand why some say, hey, let's just do this one because it's quicker. I like Red Rising. I like the way the scoring goes. I like everything that's going. My only issue with this game is I have the collector's edition.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful collector's edition. The only problem is they've been very good about being colorblind friendly, but with the fact that they're using the metal cubes, it was very difficult for them to be colorblind friendly with this one.
They did as best as they could, considering.
Now, I'm not upset that I have the collector's edition. It is a bit difficult. You and me were playing colors that were pretty close to each other. So what we ended up doing was like you put your color on one corner of an area, and I'd put my color at the opposite end. So if you put it at the top corner, I put it at the bottom corner on the other side of the board of that area, just for we can know which one of our cubes was which. But I really, really enjoy this game. I had a great time playing it. I haven't tried the solo. I heard the solo is pretty good. But yeah, Red Rising, my number 3.
Cool. My number 3 is still not out yet. So once again, I cannot be blamed for not playing it. But it's specifically Unmatched, the one with Houdini in it.
Yeah, a lot of the Unmatched got pushed back. Because the only more recent Unmatched I got was Deadpool.
Yep.
I do have one Unmatched pre-ordered, but I think it's on Miniature Market, the most recent one. I know our mutual friend Dom has it.
Yep.
But mine was tied with another pre-order, and I'm waiting on that pre-order as well.
Gotcha.
So I'm not upset if I don't have it just yet, but that was the Battle of Legends. I don't even know when the Houdini one's actually going to come out.
Who knows?
And I think a big part of that, too, is because Mondo in Restoration Game did something where now Mondo is still going to help them with the licensing, but all releases are going to be through Restoration Game.
Right. Exactly. So what that all boils down to is that if you are planning on playing a like head-to-head battle game like this and you want IPs that are still being supported, Funkoverse is available still. No, I'm kidding.
No. But here's the thing: you can get one Marvel character. The Marvels got pushed back too, but you can still get Jurassic Park IP wise. Yeah. Buffy is an IP as well.
But I actually own the Funko Marvel now.
Your point being, you don't even like Marvel, so
no. But if I was gonna have it for one, I'd rather it be Funko.
Yeah, but I have the better Marvel character on Unmatched,
which is
Deadpool.
Okay. I mean, I know nothing about superheroes. I saw the new Spider-Man movie yesterday. That's about the most I know about superheroes. But
anyway. Yeah, my number 3 was, or yours was Unmatched, huh?
Unmatched, that's right.
And this was the Houdini one.
The Houdini one. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was, who is it? Houdini
and the Genie.
The Genie, yeah, okay.
Yep, which is cool. Like, I'm looking forward to that. I might get Merlin as well and have like a battle of wizards.
So you're basically the first copy?
Yeah.
The first thing?
That'd be pretty fun. All right, on to the next one. You'll be leading us off, and this is our number 2.
My number 2, I cannot be blamed for not playing it yet because, again, due to the shipping crisis and everything that's going on, it hasn't arrived in America yet. I think it's on a boat on this way over here. They're gonna
I
think it's stuck in. Yeah, I think it's stuck in port. Is what it is.
Gotcha.
They're gonna try to get it through at the end of the year, but it just depends. And this one is, speaking of Restoration Game, Return to Dark Tower.
Ooh.
So I'm looking forward to getting this played. It looks really good from everything that I've seen on the Kickstarter stuff. But it just, again, it's still not here in the States. I think it's in port, but they haven't just been able to unload the ship, or it's stuck at port and haven't been able to go to the fulfillment center. The most recent one, I think, that's what it is, and they're still waiting to get it to, I think it's Quartermaster Logistics that's going to do their fulfillment. So... But I'm looking forward to when I get it. It might be my 2022 game played. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Did you happen to listen to like what my number 2 was? I technically referenced 2 games, but I focused on one specifically that I knew more about.
I remember somewhat what you're talking about because I think your number 1 is your Feld.
Right. So my number 2 was my Phil Walker Harding game, and I brought up both Llama Land and the Explorers.
Yeah.
But I knew more about Explorers because they announced that earlier.
But that's the one you were talking about.
Yeah.
But the one you're probably going to...
But now I'm going to talk about Llama Land because I haven't played Explorers yet because I haven't found a copy for sale at all.
Yeah,
it might be available, but I just don't know.
Yeah.
But Llama Land was available, and I did get it, and I've played it. You haven't played it yet, have you?
I have not played it, but
Okay.
I did. You played it with our friend Gamehead Geek over
Yep.
on TikTok. He already put a video up about it.
Yep, and he's already probably going to buy it,
Yep.
and our mutual friend Dom as well. I played it with him at the store, and it's always a satisfying feeling when he goes, "Darn it, Danny!" Like after playing a game with me.
Well, he does it to us all the time, so screw him.
Yeah, but no, he liked it. We've all liked it, and so you're going to like it. I can already tell you
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
it's Phil Walker
cool.
Harding.
Yep, but yeah, it's Phil Walker Harding. It's fantastic. The very first time I played it, I was questioning whether I liked it compared to some of the others, and then I played it and I was like, okay, we're good. Like I definitely see where this is going. I like it more the second time I played it now. I don't think it would unseat like Barren Park or Gingerbread House yet, but it's still pretty up there. So that's my number 2. That is Llama Land. Technically, the Explorers.
So 1 second here. My mother-in-law and my wife are in like a group chat when I'm stuck in, and they're going crazy.
Yep, it happens.
All I feel is on my watch is like, bzz, 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 and I'm like, I'm turning that off.
Right. And then, so now we're going into our number 1
Yep.
most anticipated game of the year. And I'll be starting us off.
Alrighty.
My number 1 was indeed my my Stefan Feld pick. And that was a Kickstarter that kind of came out of the blue. It was
Yeah,
in between-
how we got this one before the other ones.
Right, exactly.
This came after the other ones.
After the first set, yeah. So we're talking in between the 2 City
Sets,
Collection
yeah.
games. They ran 2 Kickstarters. They did a Kickstarter for Cocopelli between the 2. And I have since played Cocopelli a few times. God, this game is good.
It's good.
It's so good. Oh my god, it was every bit of awesome that I thought it was going to be. Because when I first got it, I'm like, okay, this seems simple. Seems a little too simple.
Little tricky when you're learning about the play areas.
Yeah, a little tricky on that. But everything it does really well. It's a smart game. It's an innovative design. I haven't seen anything like it. And it's just Stefan Feld at his finest. Like
Yeah.
all of the different player abilities that give you bonuses. Like, I love how everybody's like, oh, wow, what does this do? Oh, you can score things for only 3 cards instead of 4? Oh, that's overpowered. Oh, wait, what about this one? You can play to any of your opponent's play areas? Oh, that's overpowered. Oh, but what about this one? This one acts as a wild resource, or you get
Or no, my
bonuses
personal
for every
favorite,
time?
you can play 2 cards.
You can play 2 cards? Oh, that's overpowered. And technically, if everything's overpowered, it's balanced.
Yeah,
So
it's so good.
it's cool. Yeah, I can't encourage that one enough. I hope they make another expansion for it. I hope they continue to support it.
Right there.
Yep, it's so good. If you like anything Stefan Feld, it's lighter than most of his, but it's just as fantastic.
The
as
only
all
reason I
others.
think we got this ahead of like all the other stuff is because it's basically cards and a couple player boards.
It's just cards, and not even like that much as far as art.
Yeah, and you get
know.
you got an expansion with it, and the box is not even full.
Right, exactly. I put the entire expansion in it, and nothing yet.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to my number 1, and I kind of mentioned it at the top of this episode, is my Thunderworks series. I kind of mentioned Kate May as an honorable mention. I played that one. Amazing game. And this is also Role Player Adventures and Cartographer Heroes. Now, mind you, I just recently got them probably late October, early November. I can't remember exactly when they came in. That was during the black hole of gaming. But I'm really intrigued to start Role Player Adventure. It looks really good. I want to play Role Player, create my character, and take it into Role Player Adventure. And then Cartographer Heroes, like I was mentioning today, it was phenomenal. I really enjoy it. I really want to get into those map packs. I knew I was going to like Cartographer Heroes because I just love cartographers. I want to get into the map packs and see how they play differently. But even though it was my honorable mention, the one I want to talk about is Kate May. I was surprised how much I like this game.
Yeah.
And it's not too much of a shock for me. I really enjoy everything Thunderworks has put out so far that I've played. I haven't played like the dual powers or some of the other stuff yet, but I have enjoyed it. And most of the stuff in the Thunderworks line are tied to role players. So like Lockup, it's in the role player world. Cartographers. Cape May is so entirely different and not even tied into the role player world. But it's still such a phenomenal game. I really, really dig it. I think you would really enjoy it. I like the events that happen at every time of the year, so it can set things up like, oh, this is a fire outbreak over in these sections on these streets, so it's going to cost you more to upgrade or build or do whatever you're going to do here. But also doing the little blind bag pull and pulling like birds, and you're like, okay, maybe I should start getting more birds because they're going to start compounding points.
Yeah.
Or getting to go to the lighthouse, and the lighthouse lets you build a cottage or a shop for $5 anywhere. And then by the time you get over near where that cottage is, you can upgrade it to the thing. Because the big thing about it is when you're building, you have to be adjacent. And they make it where you can see how the adjacency works, because shops are squares, and shops are hexagons, and cottages are squares, which will allow you to build up to your other things. But then, because it's a street, you got like streets going around. It actually shows you like little dots on the square or the hexagon, telling you, okay, this is the adjacent spot. Okay, this is the adjacent spot. And I really, really dig that. And then you get to build on the boardwalk, on the beach, and trying to get your points. It's better to build on the sand if you're going to go Victorians, but it's not really going to give you a lot of points. It's better to build up on the north side, like in the gravel pit area, because you're going to get more bonus points for building there as well at the end of the game. Okay. Phenomenal game. I really enjoyed it. Role Player Adventures, I'm looking forward to starting. Cartographer Heroes, I've talked about cartographers for a whole year, so there's nothing different here other than the really cool powers that the heroes give you and some of the new stuff that they added to it.
Okay.
And the gold cards, and the fact that once you got it, you can combine it all. And then I love the collector's edition because you can put all your map packs in one box. Plus, it gives you color pencils.
Yep.
So
that sounds good.
All in all, Thunderworks knocked it out of the park with the 2 games that I have played, and I bet you the 3rd game is going to knock it out of the park too.
More than likely. Yeah. Cool deal. So that was our list for anticipated games. I ended up playing, I think, 3 or 4 of them.
Let me see. Many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically.
Basically, yeah. So that was a good list. Did they all meet your expectations? The ones you did play.
Yeah, actually, Red Rising I really, really enjoyed. Like I said, pleasantly surprised with Cape May, and that was only just an afterthought. I mentioned it during when I was saying like role player adventures, but yeah, Cape May shocked me because, like I said, I knew I was going to like cartographers because I really enjoy the game to begin with. I like some of the things that they've changed, like with the powers and stuff like that from the heroes and other things, and then Aliens: Fate of Nostromo. I enjoyed it. The surprise for that much is that I wished I enjoyed it more. Yeah, it was good, but our mutual friend talked about it. He's like, this is good, but because what Ravensburger did with Horrified, it kind of, you're expecting more with their co-ops in a sense. Yeah. Mind you, Horrified was originally Prospero Hall, so that's a big step down because the new one, the Alien, is not Prospero Hall, and it's still good. Right. And it got that pandemic-esque, is like you do good things and then bad things happen to you and stuff. So, but all in all, I say out of all the games that I have played out of my list, my 2 biggest surprises were The Loop and Cape May. I knew I was going to like The Loop. I didn't know I was going to like it that much. Mm-hmm. And Cape May is just, I knew I was going to like it. It looked good, and it's like worker placement-esque. It's more like your person's going down the street. But I like the movement, the way you can go this way or this way, unless there's certain streets where you have to follow the traffic line. Both of those are my 2 biggest surprises what I played. Cool. Yeah. And you?
Mine, Cocopelli was just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I already expected it was going to be good.
Well, it's failed.
Yeah. I didn't realize how good it was going to be, and I was hoping, because I love the Southwest culture of it. Yeah. You know, it's based on Native American folklore. Like, that's awesome. Now, I've seen some reviews where people are like, well, you know, it's almost like offensive. It's a German designer making it. I don't think he was, like, I mean, it's kind of a pasted on theme, but I don't think it was, think it was bad. Like,
he just liked the artwork, and I know there was some stuff like he got permission to do it. So.
Yeah, well, they had Native American artists actually make the art. Yeah. So it's, you know, Makes sense, I believe.
Yeah, so it's good. It wasn't on my list, but yeah, that was also one of my surprises too. Is Kokapelli, how different it is, but how simple it is.
And then the other one was Night Cage. I knew I was probably gonna like it, but I didn't think I was gonna love it like I do. It's awesome. It's really, really good.
Alrighty, so that's our revisit.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you ever want to join us live, like So Very Wrong About Games, thank you for tuning in. Mario Fanatic as well. They've both been chatting up. By all means, join us on twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. And if you ever want to make sure that you catch us on a live episode, make sure you subscribe. That helps us out, of course, expand the channel. And then on top of that, that way you can get notified when we do go online. Because our schedules are a little weird right now. So we'd appreciate the subscription.
All right, and you can also find all video re-uploads on YouTube at Everyday Board Games 2020. And if you like what we do there, it's 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. You can subscribe if you are not. You can like this video, and you can comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject of what we just talked about. Also, all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and Podbean.
And you said it right. If you ever want to give us suggestions or even just say hi and reach out to us, you can reach us directly at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com.
As well as you can also get in contact with us at our official Twitter account at EBG Podcast.
So we want to thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of our podcast. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for tuning in to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board games.